Do you love lasagna? Think it's too tough to make? Well, today I've got an episode that's going to knock your socks off. I'm going to show you in just a few easy steps how easy making a lasagna can be right in your own place, starting right now. Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Lazy Gourmet. I'm Ken and I'll be with you today showing you how to make the most amazing, in fact, the ultimate family lasagna. And the reason I'm going to do this and make this so easy is because of one of my favorites and one of my ultimate cheats, no boil lasagna noodles. To get us started today, I'm going to start off with about 1 pound of lean ground beef and just crumble up our ground beef into our pot, let it start browning. So when I make this today, basically the only thing that's Greek about this dish is the oregano and the guy that's making it. So now that our ground beef is on its way to browning, at this stage here, I just want to add a little pepper, a little bit of salt. Now, not too much salt in this case because we're also going to be adding a lot of cheese to this, and I'll be using for this 3 kinds of cheeses. I'll be using mozzarella, of course. I'll be using cottage cheese. It's one of those things. And as well as parmesan. So what comes next, once our ground beef is on its way, is start with our veggies. For this, I'm going to use basically an onion, 1 celery stalk, carrot, and garlic. So I'm just going to throw these in here just like that. Take a couple or so cloves of garlic. This is really to taste. In this recipe, I use 2 cloves, but you could also use as much as you want or as little as you want. The carrot, we're just going to basically lop off the ends and cut into just chunks and put it in there as well. What the carrot is going to do basically is just dissolve, but it's going to add a background sweetness to our sauce that's really awesome. And same thing with the celery. Get rid of that and just break it up into little pieces as well. That goes in there. Our red pepper, sweet red pepper, just cut it into 4. And now this is ready to go. That's awesome. All done. Nothing to it. A few seconds and you're good to go. Take our stuff from our food processor, our onions and our veggies, and move that just right in there. Now our flavors are building here in our sauce. The next thing that I want to add is this. This is my ultra spicy, unbelievably spicy actually, chili sauce that I made in another episode, which I'll include the link below. And this is basically a slurry or a puree of habanero peppers, jalapeno peppers, and red Thai chili peppers. Yeah, it'll feel like a colon transplant, believe me. That's how hot it is. In this case, to do this dish, I like a little piquant or a little spice, but I don't want to blow the doors off of anybody. So I'm only going to use basically half a teaspoon in this dish. So the next part of this story is dried oregano, Greek oregano. For this, we're going to do about a tablespoon or so. You want that background flavor, which is always nice in any kind of sauce, no matter what it is, Italian, Greek, Spanish, Mexican. A lot of these red sauces or tomato sauces use a lot of oregano. So get that in there. And the next thing that's going to go in is one of these lovely gems of flavor. These are my basil flavor bombs. Again, one of the things that I've made a video about. It's a way to preserve fresh basil in your ice cubes tray and keep it in the freezer for all winter long. This is from actually last summer. And I'm gonna throw in, I guess, a couple of these. And again, the link will be in the comments below or the description box below. The next part of this is we wanna do about a heaping tablespoon of tomato paste. So we've got those beautiful brown bits of deliciousness at the bottom of the pan. And what we're gonna do next is simply start adding the liquid part, which is our diced tomatoes. So for this, I'm throwing in 128-ounce can of diced tomatoes. And along with the diced tomatoes, I'm gonna add one can, another 28 ounces of water. And the reason I'm doing this, more importantly, is for this lasagna recipe, you want a little bit of a looser tomato sauce because we're using our no-bake lasagna noodles. So while our sauce is simmering down, the next part of this is to grate our mozzarella. It's totally fine to be a coarse grate. For this, I'm using about 450 grams of mozzarella, and you can just basically grate it down. You can use your food processor as well, or manual labor like this, and move from there. So from here, what I'm gonna do is add some grated parmesan right into our sauce. Here is one of my all-time favorite pans. It's the 9x12. I swear to you, I have like an emotional attachment to this pan. So as this thing's kind of bubbling and boiling away, I'm just gonna take some and just pour it in here, just like that. All right, so there we have our bottom layer of tomato sauce. And what we're gonna do is slowly start adding in our dry noodles, just like that, beside each other. It figures I got a broken one, but that's okay. And just start layering them. And as you layer them, what you're gonna find is you're gonna have to break some apart. That's totally fine too. A little more sauce as we build this now. And this is gonna be a very meaty lasagna. It's definitely not for my vegetarian friends, but you know what? Try it, you may like it. The next part of this is a little bit of our mozzarella goes in to this layer. A little more of our Parmesan cheese gets sprinkled into this. This is gonna be so magnificent, oh my God. Now, cottage cheese. I have to tell you, I'm not the biggest fan of cottage cheese. A lot of people swear by it, they love it, oh, it's so amazing. To me, I will tell you that it really doesn't have a flavor. Some people will say, oh my God, it's so amazing, it's so delicious, I'll put it on anything and it just tastes so great. That's fine. But the fact of the matter is, it's one of these chameleon kind of foods. It kind of takes on the flavor of whatever you're putting it in, and it actually produces texture more than anything else. And let's face it, it's not the most popular thing. You're not gonna go to some supermarket and hear a couple saying, oh honey, how about some cottage cheese for later? No, you don't hear that. For this recipe, I'm using the 500-gram container of the cottage cheese. Now this will go into a preheated 400-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 45 minutes to an hour. What you're looking for here is the cheese to be completely melted on top and for it to start actually browning and blistering. That's the ideal. So I'm gonna pop this in the oven and I'll see you right here in a bit. So now the moment of truth. This has been in the oven for about 40 minutes, give or take. And more importantly, it's been sitting out here for about half an hour. That's the key when you're making these kind of dishes, lasagnas, casseroles, that type of thing. Let them sit. Don't cut into them right away or you're gonna have this kind of sloppy mess all over the place, and that's not what we want. So now what I'm gonna do is my favorite part of everything is cutting into this. Now this is the part here that doesn't always work out, but I'm gonna do the best I can. Oh yeah. Amazing. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'll bring it in nice and close. All the layers are all together. The cheese has melted and blended in with the tomato sauce, and the noodles are done perfectly. My God, I look at this. To me, this is strap a treadmill to my ass. Oh my God. I'm gonna try this right now. Shut the door and dim the lights. I need some alone time with this. Oh my God, it's so delicious, so wonderful. All the flavors are in play. You got that just kiss in the background of that hot sauce that I put in, but nothing overpowering. The basil from the basil bombs, the flavor bombs, are on point. Everything is just completely blended. And yes, the cottage cheese adds a certain amount of texture to this. So that's it for this episode of The Lazy Gourmet. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope you learned something, and I really hope you actually take a stab at making this, because it's really not that complicated at all. Subscribe to my community, or this little community of ours. It's basically a channel, or my channel is devoted to people just like you who either are amateur cooks or are learning how to cook or don't know how to boil water. Totally cool. Subscribe and learn and share. Food is such a great pleasure in life. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Until next time, I'm Ken, aka The Lazy Gourmet. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.